I fucked up for convincing my deaf girlfriend to tie me up and blindfold me throwaway account. I'm not as good with words as most people who post on this sub, so my story might sound boring lol. My girlfriend and I, M, are both 17. Communication is important for any relationship, but it's especially important for us because my girlfriend is deaf. A few weeks ago, we became sexually active. It was awkward at first, but eventually we got the hang of it. I suggested we do something special in bed before we go our separate ways during the holidays. I convinced her to tie me up and blindfold me when we have sex again. Yesterday it happened. My girlfriend and I were in her bedroom. We made sure to lock the door, even though we were alone in the house. When I was done going down on her, she tied me up and blindfolded me. She enjoys the reverse cowgirl position, so it didn't surprise me when I could feel her sitting on top of me like that. That position was our downfall because moments later I heard a knock on the door. It was her mom. I don't know if it's a deaf person thing or just my girlfriend, but her moans are loud as fuck. I've mentioned it to her many times, not as a criticism, and she always thinks I'm exaggerating. Her moaning made her mom lose her shit behind the door. I wiggled my hips like I was hula hooping to get my girlfriend to either pay attention to my face and read my lips or get the fuck off of me before her mom kicked the door down. I couldn't see shit and my girlfriend was becoming more enthusiastic and vocal due to my weird hip movements. The handcuffs were very challenging, but I managed to grab the box of wet wipes on the nightstand and toss it towards my girlfriend. She paused and lifted my blindfold. I mouthed, "Your mom is home and she can hear us." My girlfriend freed me and we got dressed as quickly and quietly as possible. Her mom stopped banging on the door when we stopped making a sound. My girlfriend and I were too scared to open the door, so we literally did nothing. Her mom decided to send her a message on her phone. The message said, "Is everything okay? Are you doing what I think you're doing?" My girlfriend proceeded to type what seemed like the script for the next Lord of the Rings movie, but she changed her mind mid-text and just replied with "yes," followed by "please don't tell Dad." I had to do my walk of shame in the presence of the mom, who was unpacking grocery bags in the kitchen at the time. I've never seen a person pack products into a fridge with so much aggression. We were unable to look at each other. I awkwardly said hello and goodbye and left. Update. Tifu using sign language to make my deaf partner's parents love me. 21st Dex 2022. A few days ago, my girlfriend and I got caught being intimate. Her mom heard us in the bedroom and banged on the door. My girlfriend heard nothing because she is deaf. I did my best to communicate what was happening, but I was in a compromising position at the time. By the time my girlfriend and I were on the same page, the damage was done. Her mom heard it all. Yesterday, my girlfriend sent me a message to inform me that her parents wanted to have a discussion with the two of us regarding recent events. I agreed to meet with them at their house towards the end of the day. This is what I expected to happen. 1. Uncomfortable conversation with the parents about my shenanigans with their daughter. 2. Awkward apology from me. 3. Parents accepting my apology and encouraging my girlfriend and I to practice safe sex, even though no sex at all would probably be their preference. 4. I use what I've learned in sign language to tell the parents how much I love their daughter and hopefully make them like me more. 5. Wholesome-ish ending. So, 1-3 kind of happened as expected, but I managed to fuck up 4 and 5. This is what happened. I've been learning sign language on and off basis for months now. I'm nowhere near good enough, but my girlfriend and I thought it might disarm her parents if I made a small gesture in sign language to show how much I cared about her. It sounded like an excellent suggestion on paper, but I was worried that I would fuck it up because my sign language skills kind of suck. My girlfriend encouraged me to learn something simple, like an "I love you" or whatever. I thought maybe an "I love your daughter" to the parents would be better. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. However, due to the stress of her parents confronting us and the pressure to avoid saying the wrong things, including the sign language part, I became overwhelmed and miscommunicated the sign for daughter and signed "I love your whore." I knew the sign had something to do with touching the side of the cheek or chin, so I did what I thought made sense instead of aborting the mission when I forgot the fucking sign. Instant regret. My girlfriend buried her face in her hands. I could tell she was laughing. Her parents didn't have the same reaction. The two of them looked at me like I was the poop demon in Dogma. I had no idea it was an inappropriate sign when it happened, but it was obvious I did something wrong. It was the complete opposite of a wholesome ending. My girlfriend video called me afterwards to show me the difference between daughter and whore in sign language, and to tell me I should probably avoid her parents for the time being, because I'm not their favorite person at the moment. Guess I'm never going to make a good impression now. Am I the asshole for having sex in my house? My dad died when I was 10 years old, but in his will, he left his house to me. More specifically, he left it to my uncle with instructions to give it to me, but my uncle is great, so when I turned 18, he took me out for the day, and we hung out, and he made a whole thing of giving me ownership. He did a great job of keeping track of stuff and holding on to the stocks and retirement funds and life insurance money that my dad left me. My dad left most of everything to me, with some going to his brother, my uncle, and my aunt. He also left me my car that my uncle kept until I was 16. The car is technically still in my uncle's name and he pays the insurance. My dad also left my mom a bit of money, and he even left some money to my half-brother M12. He and my mom were never married. They stayed together even though she cheated, but he still never wanted to get married. My mom says he wanted her to jump through hoops if she ever wanted to marry him, and it never happened before he died. My mom married my stepdad, my brother and sister's F9 father, and we stayed living in the house. My mom got to live there with me because of my dad's will, and my stepdad moved in with her. My mom quit her job after she married my stepdad, and he's the sole income earner, with her as a Sam. My uncle has never charged my stepdad rent. My stepdad just pays utilities, and he's been giving my uncle money for property taxes. So he's been getting a pretty sweet deal. Anyway, the other night I had my boyfriend park down the block and walk to the house so I could sneak him in through the garage, and I had him up in my room. My stepdad ran into him in the morning when he was trying to sneak out through the kitchen and didn't expect my stepdad to be up. We apologized for startling him, and I was a little embarrassed. I tried to laugh it off and tell him it wasn't a big deal, and just to be casual, but he wasn't having it. Stepdad fucking blew up at me, saying that I'm not allowed to have boyfriends or girlfriends over, that it's inappropriate, and that it's disrespectful, fucking whatever. I told him I didn't have to listen to him, and he tried to pull some my house, my rules bullshit. That's when I told him that it's actually my house, and it always has been. And he's lucky I don't charge him rent. It's not like I'm gonna kick my mom and my siblings out or something, but still, fuck him. He was fucking livid. He called me a spoiled little brat and he kept having a tantrum. He told my mom to say something, but she kind of just stayed out of it. Kind of like she always does. He tried to yell at me some more, but I just told him that it's my fucking house and I'll do what I want. If I want to have my boyfriend over, I can. I work retail, because I don't want to blow through the money my dad left me. It's enough that I could live off it through college, but definitely not long term. My uncle says I should do my best not to touch it anymore. I told my stepdad that if I did charge him rent, even if I gave him a fantastic deal, I could totally just quit my job. He just said I wouldn't fucking dare, but by then it was time for him to go to work anyway. I gave him every fucking opportunity to not pick fights, but he's just a dick sometimes. Update: I never expected the overwhelming number of responses my post got, but I can try to answer some of the main questions, and I have some news. The fight we had wasn't the first time my stepdad had called me spoiled. He's said it before. My uncle does really well, enough to take his family on vacations every couple of years, and he always invites me along ever since I was 10. He also makes sure to get me gifts for Christmas and my birthday, etc. They're usually nicer than what my stepdad gets me, if he even gets me anything, and my stepdad always thinks I'm spoiled. My stepdad is a cheapskate who does not like to spend money on gifts. My uncle is the opposite. I had asked my uncle about how much it would be to take over the insurance on my car, but my uncle said that me not needing to worry about it was worth more to him than the money. I am incredibly glad and thankful to have him in my life. Yes, my stepdad is the main guy. My mom was cheating on my dad with back when they were together. My brother and my sister are both his kids. I'm my dad's only child. My mom hooked up with my stepdad openly officially later the same year after my dad died. They got married pretty quick. My uncle is a really chill, friendly guy, but he is basically just cordial with my stepdad. He's way more fine with my mom, but she has a very passive personality a lot of the time, so they don't really conflict with each other ever. My mom usually has my back, but she doesn't get into arguments if she can help it. She never argued with my dad for her as I can remember, and she doesn't argue with my stepdad. If she can't walk away from a fight, she'll let people talk at her until they get bored. My mom will sneak me extra money out of the money my stepdad gives her, and she'll usually be the one to tell him to just let me do what I want. My stepdad is way more strict with his bio kids, but she never let him be that strict on me. Even when my mom worked, she never had much more than minimum wage or part-time jobs. She likes to talk about how much she got as tips when she was a bartender for a little while, but that was the highest paying job she ever had. She went straight from living with her own parents to living with my dad back when they were together. My stepdad has been around since I was about 10, and he has tried to be a father to me as well as his own kids. I can appreciate that he's provided for me and the family, even if we don't always get along. He tries, he really does. But he's always thought I was spoiled. My dad made more money back then, even than he does now, and I guess I can see why he's jealous. He's probably also jealous of my uncle. My uncle usually gets my brother and sister gifts too, but my stepdad has literally told him not to get them things that are too expensive. My uncle got my brother a switchback when they were new, and my stepdad got mad about it and told him he had to give it back. I got into an argument with them and told him he was being an asshole. My uncle is willing to respect his wishes, but told him he doesn't have any business with what gifts he gives me. The taxes were never paid in my stepdad's name. He always gave the money to my uncle, and my uncle paid the taxes. Now he'll be giving the money to me, and I'll be paying them in my own name. I did talk to my uncle, privately and along with everyone else, and we had a discussion like adults, like a lot of people recommended. My uncle is going to talk to a lawyer and we are going to have a formal lease. My stepdad is going to pay rent, but it won't be anywhere near as much as he'd pay for anything else a month, which will let me have a lot more savings but which won't hurt the family. I did have to admit that his money is their money too, and I don't want to take money away from my mom and siblings. Also, stepdad has been paying for me all this time. I've only even had a job for a little under a year. We had a good long talk and my uncle made us all hug. In addition to rent, stepdad will be responsible for household repairs and upkeep. He was already doing this, as he was eager to point out, and he did replace the water heater a few years ago, and he paid to have the furnace and AC replaced. I talked to my mom privately first, and she always wanted my stepdad to pay something, but he figured taking care of the family and me was more than enough. Also, again, my stepdad is really cheap. When we go out to restaurants, someone else has to be in charge of leaving the tip, or he basically just won't tip at all. Obviously, kicking out my whole family was never going to be anything I wanted to do. That would be totally crazy. I love my mom and my sister and brother. Stepdad is even okay most of the time. I would absolutely not be able to pay for everything on my part-time retail job, especially with getting ready for college. As funny as it would be, I don't think I'm going to kick my mom out of the master bedroom. My room has its own bathroom anyway, and even if her bathroom and bedroom are bigger than mine, she's got 2 people in there, so I'm just going to keep the peace. I can obviously have guests over whenever I want, and that includes my boyfriend. I'm not going to get pregnant. I'm on birth control and we use condoms, and if it comes down to it, I'm just not having a baby. Sneaking my boyfriend into the house was just what I always do, and it can be hard to stop doing old habits. Ever since my stepdad caught me with my best friend and banned her from being able to sleep over at the house or even stay late, I've just been used to hiding my dating and sex life from him. My mom is way more chill about it, and I talk to her, but my stepdad usually doesn't even know who I'm dating. That can obviously change now, and I can just have people come in through the front door. My mom and stepdad have agreed that they should try to move out within the next 5 to 10 years, depending on if I go to grad school at all or not. We have come to the end of our story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. Tell us what you think about this story in the comments.